It's easier to come here for victims because there's a lot of services in one place.
A name was given to the project. One roof. One roof.
We are so grateful for the vision of our past Metro leadership and our current Metro leadership who have made this vision and these dreams a reality. Their work and investment in this beautiful Family Safety Center is already benefiting families and children.
These are the families and these are the children that you do the work for. So thank you for what you have done to get to this point, and thank you for what you will do. I look forward to working with you.
The Old Testament prophet Habakkuk lived in a time of great injustice, where people were marginalized, victimized, and brutalized. And the Lord went to Habakkuk and told him to preach the Lord's justice of loving each other and supporting each other. And the Lord told Habakkuk to preach that word and to write it on the wall and make it plain. Today, with this facility, our community has written on the wall a justice of loving each other and supporting victims, and we're making it plain. Our office in the district attorney's office supports victims, and the most vulnerable victims are children, sexual assault victims, the elderly, and victims of domestic violence. That's what we do to support victims. And what this facility does for us is we get to have office space here where we can meet victims where they are. We have a program in the DA's office where every victim of domestic violence gets contacted the morning after they were victimized, the morning after they swore out a warrant, the morning after they had to call the police. And we invite those folks to come down and meet with us that day so that we can talk to them and provide them the support they need and start letting them know about the court process. And we're able to work with the Office of Family Safety and get them hooked up with whatever services they might need, whether it's counseling, whether it's housing, whatever. But there are some folks who, after the traumatic experience that led to an arrest, can't get off work the next day. And so they can't come down to our office. They can't come down. This facility allows us to have them come down after work and after hours, come down instead of coming downtown, coming out to a place where there is free parking, which is valuable in this city, a place where we can meet them on their own terms in a way that they know that they're safe, the way they know that we're going to help them be healthy, in the way they know that they're going to get justice. This building also houses children's services and office space where we can collaborate with police officers, Department of Children's Service, the sex assault unit, the domestic violence unit, in ways to where the prosecutions are going to be more successful, where offenders can be held accountable, and where victims of all these crimes can be supported. It's very important. While most people start with acknowledgments and then talk about what they want to talk about, I want to kind of end with acknowledgments because these are all important to acknowledge the folks that have brought us here. And we've heard some and a little bit about some of the folks that helped bring us here. Our city has had a long commitment to victims' rights, to victim services, to victim support. Andrea Conte has been a huge part of that, and she and Kathy Gurley with You Have the Power have been great. We also have other victims' rights organizations, Tennessee Voices for Victims, Verna Wyatt and Valerie Craig. These are huge assets to our city and assets to those of us who are not necessarily the most powerful, in some ways the least powerful. And thank goodness we have powerful people who are giving their lives to serve others. Mayor and Governor Bredesen set a tone for this city, and we appreciate his service. Other folks that have shown tremendous leadership, my predecessor, Tory Johnson, district attorney for 26 years, He had a commitment to justice. He worked to try to get folks to cooperate, collaborate, to be more effective and efficient in prosecution. He started the domestic violence unit. He was part of the vision team that ultimately led to this. Chief Anderson, tremendous leadership as the chief of the police department, and puts some of the absolute best detectives in the world in supporting child abuse, in supporting the rape victims, and supporting domestic violence. Mayors, we have had a consistent run of mayors, even predating you, Mayor Bredesen, but all the way through that have been the types of folks that have supported this type of work. Carl Dean was the one who first started the real work toward getting this facility here, and without the commitment that he showed, we never could have got this off the ground. Megan Berry continued that, and I appreciate Megan Berry. And let me tell you one thing about Megan Berry and what she's done for this facility right here. We know about child victims, we know about rape victims, we know about domestic violence victims, but the fastest growing area of prosecution in our most vulnerable in our community are really elder abuse victims. And it was her leadership that let us put a third floor on this, because at some point we're going to be having a whole team dedicated to elder abuse that we can house here and co-locate here, because essentially it's the family safety center, and that includes the folks, our parents and our grandparents, and I thank Mayor Berry for that. And of course David Briley, who is seeing this across the finish line, took the baton a year ago and has really made sure that it would be finished in the proper way. I don't want to leave without thanking Chris Buford, who's the team leader for domestic violence in our office, leads a team of 10 lawyers. Jan Norman's the team leader for crimes against children. And before Chris, the team leader was Anna Escobar, who's now a judge, and I don't know if she's here because she might be on the bench, but we've had some tremendous leadership within the district attorney's office as far as folks that are on the front lines doing this work every single day. I've been told that I'm supposed to also turn it over to Diane Lance, and Diane spoke first, and nobody got to introduce her, and she is so selfless that she doesn't necessarily want a big introduction, but I want to take this opportunity to point out how we got here. She convinced Mayor Dean to let her do a 2-year study that would help all of Nashville get a grasp on the very serious problem that is domestic violence. Before the nation really thought domestic violence was a huge problem, Mayor Dean and Diane Lance were already working, getting a group of some 200 Nashvillians to focus on this issue. They started the Office of Family Safety, and then how did we end up here? Diane Lance did the type of thing that we want government officials to do, which is do things the right way with the right research and put the right effort into it, and she led teams around the country to go to different family safety centers and see the best parts of their family safety centers, and then she had the wisdom to say to those folks, if you were building your family safety center today, now that you've been in it for a while, what do you wish you had done? Don't just tell me your brags, tell me what you wish. And then she took that and came back and made best practices together and was able to get the collaboration needed to be able to get this facility built. It's been bragged on today that it's the biggest. Yeah, biggest is nice. But I've been to a number of these family safety centers. This is the best. And we are lucky to have that, and it's thanks to her. But her leadership is not just about bricks and mortar. It's about getting people to cooperate and collaborate. We have great leadership in the community. The folks that you've heard speaking, Chief, June, mayors, members of the police department, members of the Department of Children's Services, Nashville, the Torrey Johnson Nashville Children's Alliance. And it's one thing to have well-meaning people. It's another thing to get people in the same room and come together with a comprehensive and complete plan that actually gets the job done. Because as nice as this building is, if we didn't have the collaboration and the partnerships that the Office of Family Safety has done the leadership for, we'd have a great building, but we wouldn't be getting the job done. And this is thanks to Diane Lance. And I want to thank you one more time, Diane. Thank you. keep going for a while. Is that okay?
Thank you, Glenn, and I do want to point out that Judge Smith is here, who was one of the original people that went to Gene Crow to talk to Mayor Dean about the importance of making things better in our community for our victims. But I appreciate that, and anyone in this crowd knows that I've had the privilege of standing on the shoulders of some tremendous giants in this community. So thank you.